since death is what I think about every day. So I'm going to read a quote. You have to get the movie, and if you can get the actor, that's even amazing. I wrote that down too, just to really focus in. All right, here we go. Old age. It's the only disease that you don't look forward to being cured of. Old movie. Maybe this isn't such a good thing. I really, the first time it was so much fun.
Let's do another.
All right, nobody?
When
Old
Harry
age.
Met Sally.
Huh?
When Harry Met Sally.
No. Old movie, like really old. Old age. It's the only disease that you don't look forward to being cured of.
Can we get a hint?
The actor is Everett Sloane.
Something down.
Michael?
No.
Citizen Kane.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
I'm going to talk to Emerson. All right. So now this one, Webb, you may, and Aaron, you guys. Fear of death is what keeps us alive.
Oh no.
No.
Fear of death is what keeps us alive.
Is this Star Trek adjacent, David?
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, since we talked about Star Trek, but all right, the actor is Carl Urban.
Oh, the first Star Trek. Online, right?
Come on, Aaron.
What's the name of the movie?
You can do this.
Fear of death is what keeps us alive.
Into Darkness?
It's Dr. McCoy who's line.
Star Trek 2009.
No.
I'm just going to
Star Trek.
It's not the
Into
Into
Darkness.
Darkness, it's the third one.
Star Trek Beyond. All right. So far we have none. All right.
We'll get one of these.
All right, here we go. Michael, you might know this one. Basically, we're all waiting for permission to die. Actor Charlotte Gainsbourg.
Antichrist?
What was it? Say it again.
Basically, we're all waiting for permission to die.
Melancholia?
You're going to name all of his movies?
Nymphomaniac?
Yes, Nymphomaniac Volume 1. Yes. Okay, good. All right. There are a lot of these, so we don't have to do them all, but it is kind of fun. And they're really good quotes. You might know this one, Alana. Funerals, I've decided, are not for the dead. They are for the living. Shailene Woodley is the actor.
Oh, it's Full Nurse.
People who study film. All right. Yeah. Okay, we ready? I'm not afraid of death. I'm an old physicist. I'm afraid of time. Actor Michael Caine.
Arthur.
Children of Men.
No? All right. No?
Yeah.
No? No?
Yeah.
Not Batman.
Interstellar. All right, this is an older one. The dead know only one thing. It is better to be alive. Matthew Modine is the actor.
Full Metal Jacket.
Thank you.
There we go.
Yes. All right, this is fun. Someone has to die in order that the rest of us should value life more. Actor Nicole Kidman. Rita loved this movie.
Eyes Wide Shut.
No. Can't imagine Rita loving it. The Hours, who said that? Yes, Colleen. It's so fun to almost know everybody in the audience. It is kind of cool. All right. On a long enough timeline, the survival rate for everyone drops to 0. Edward Norton. Yes, 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 yes. Maybe the more I do, it's getting better. All right. Every living creature on this earth dies alone. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, Donnie Darko.
Thank you. Yes, see, we're getting there. I think having the actor probably helps. I like this quote. I remember that movie. Remember those posters that said, "Today is the first day of the rest of your life." Well, that's true of every day but one, the day you die. Kevin Spacey.
American.
Yeah, American Beauty. Yes. All right. Thank you, everybody. This is great.
Didn't say that.
I know what it's like to want to die. How it hurts to smile. How you try to fit in but you can't. How you hurt yourself on the outside to try to kill the thing on the inside. Actor Winona Ryder.
Girl Interrupted.
Yes, yes. All right.
I was on top of it.
We should have prizes. Next time.
Next time we'll have prizes.
Yes, we will have prizes. And they will have to be very queer prizes to work with the whole theme. All right, this one everybody should get. Seize the day. Gather, you already got it? Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. Why does the writer use these lines? Because we are food for worms, lads. Because believe it or not, each and every one of us in this room is one day going to stop breathing, turn cold, and die.
Dead Poets
Dead Poets Society.
Yep, yep. I knew everybody would get that. All right, I liked this movie a lot. All major changes are like death. You can't see what is on the other side until you get there. Jeff Goldblum.
The Fly?
Oh, I like The Fly, but no. Jurassic Park. All right, last one. You gotta fight for every breath and tell death to go to hell. Gail Garcia Bernal.
Harold Mott?
No, that's a great film. Yeah. No, he wasn't in that. Any guesses?
Y tu mama tambien.
No, that's
Easy Rider?
no the motorcycle diaries. All right, so that was segment one. I think that was pretty successful. I mean, I really had to. There's music. There are more words, and I've talked to Webb about this. I've thought about, and Charles. I've been on tour with people that I had never been on tour with. Like, we weren't a band. We just decided, like even with Michael, with Ben, we never really played together. We decided to just go on tour and see what happens. And on tour, sitting in the van for hours and hours and hours, you think about stuff. And I was always trying to challenge the other musicians I was on tour with. Like, let's sit on one texture. Like, sit on it until your body can't take it anymore. Like, do not change. We talked about this maybe.
Yeah.
And just don't change. Like, just focus on it until you really can't. And one of the challenges was to cry. Like, can you cry during your set? Like really cry. And I've talked to Michael, I talked to Webb, I've talked to a lot of people, and most people haven't. Some people cry afterwards, and it doesn't have anything to do with the set. Some people are moved by something else. But how many of you musicians, there are a lot in this room, how many of you have like cried during your set? That was not quite.
In what kind of way? Like sobbing?
Yeah, sobbing. I don't mean, like not just tears coming down, like sobbing.
I don't think I've sobbed in public.
Who's talking? Oh, Branton, that's you way back there. What are you doing so far back?
I like
Too cool back there. Too cool. All right, there's room.
No, man, I'm just,
All right.
Socially distant.
Oh, well, there we go. Okay, anyway, that's something I thought about a lot. And one thing that happened when Rita was dying was the rabbi said, I want you to write a letter to Rita. And the rabbi was also trying to get me to bury her. So I was not going to bury her. And he was like, I mean, there was like a wheeler dealer thing. Like, I can get you a deal on the funeral. Like, somebody I know will like pay for it. We really, I mean, Jews, they want to bury like within 24 hours, and there's a whole thing about it. But I was like, no, that's not what I want to do. So he's like, you could put the letter in when you bury her. And I was like, okay, I see where you're going with this. And he actually said something that was brutal. He said, well, what did Hitler do to us? And I was like, now you're going a little too far, Rabbi. I mean, I kind of dug him, but that was like a little too much. So I wrote Rita a letter, and I read it to her, and she died like a couple of days later. And during the pandemic, I became really close with Kenny Millions. A lot of you know Kenny. And we really bonded. We talked almost every day, and I got to know his wife really well. And we still communicate every day. And Junko said, I want to write a letter to Rita. I never met her before she was sick, and I really want to write a letter to her. And so I was like, that's a great idea. And so she wrote a letter, and she kept saying, did it get there yet? Because this was like in the last days of her life. Did the letter get there? Did the letter get there? And I kept saying, no, it's not here yet, but I didn't check the mail. I'll check the mail. So I did check the mail. And it finally came on a Friday. Rita died on a Tuesday. And it was beautiful. I guess I was going to save this till last, but since I started talking about it, it doesn't make sense to save it till last. So that's what happens. Things change. So this is kind of the two letters. Letters to the dying. Letters to the dying. Dear Rita. Hello, Rita. I talked with the hospice rabbi on Sunday. He thought it would be a good idea for me to write you a letter. Hello, my name is Junko. My name is Junko. I never met you before, so you don't know me. You don't know me. A letter about our life, etc. First off, I miss you. I miss you so much. It's been so many years since you have been you. My name is Junko. I never met you, so you don't know me. I never met Dave either, but I feel like now you are bedridden and in hospice. You have the same nurse my mother did. 1 minute you were walking in circles 12 to 15 hours a day. The next you were stuck in bed. I never met Dave either, but I feel like I've known you for a long time. I feel like I've known you for a long time. My regret is I never met you before you came ill. 1 minute you were walking in circles 12 to 15 hours a day. The next you were stuck in bed. I really want your suffering to end, but I am also scared to not have you in my life. I never thought we would be apart. We have been together for 32 years. Hard to believe. We had an interesting marriage. Dave says you were something else. Dave says you were something else. I can tell you must have been quite a woman with intelligence and spunk from your poems. With intelligence and spunk. I really like that line. From your poems. Dave reads them occasionally, and from the drawings of you he expresses. We had an interesting marriage. You loved your alone time, and it took me a long time to get that. I finally did, though. You always said you would want 3 days on and 4 days off. Dave reads them occasionally, and from the drawings of you he expresses. I think we could have become friends if we met before. because we are both married to crazy musicians. We were not lovey-dovey couple. Some thought we were brother and sister. We did have a wonderful sex life. You really enjoyed the physical part of our relationship. I did too. Every time I saw you naked, it was like the first time. That drove you crazy sometimes. Why are you looking at me like that? You have seen me this way for years. And that's true. It was insane. I had my brain would just go blank. Just the way I'm wired. I miss touching and kissing you. You did give me a kiss a couple of weeks ago. It was very sweet. It was really odd because Rita had dementia. And one day she kissed my arm. And it was really sweet. It was like a very emotional moment. And then the next day she bit my arm. And she bit it so hard I had teeth marks. It was really amazing. So a kiss one day, a bite the next. I guess that's life. I think we could have become good friends. And dare I say, both of us were sexy bitches. Yeah. I saw pictures of Junko when she was younger. She definitely was. We really did a lot in our 32 years. We moved quite a bit. We lived in Seattle for a year, Baltimore, Westminster. We have a daughter, Alana. You loved Alana so much. You wrote a journal for her. It's really beautiful and shows how much you loved her. I really wish I could talk to you again. That was the most difficult part of being part of her death, is that she couldn't talk. I'm in a bereavement group, and most people in the bereavement group, they talked to their partners while they were dying because they were still mentally able to talk. And the hard part was I had no idea what was going on in her head, and for years I didn't know. So it was really tough. Right now you are mumbling to yourself, not sure what you are saying or to whom. Alana is now 19 years old and studying film. You would be very proud of her. I know I am. We always wanted more friends in our life. Not sure why we didn't have more people in our lives, but we always had each other. And that's true. I don't know. We never met people. I know you have to leave us soon. I know that all of us will be going where you are going sooner or later. That line killed me. I know you have to leave us soon, but I know that all of us will be going where you are going sooner or later. We loved going to the movies, eating out, just spending time together at home. We loved our trips to Rehoboth. You so enjoyed shopping at the outlets, eating pizza, walking on the beach, staying in the motels. We went often and always had a good time. I never got tired of being with you. I want you back in my life the way you used to be. It's so hard to imagine life without you. Even when you were sick with early onset Alzheimer's disease, we spent every day together, took walks, went shopping, watched TV. You kept declining though. You kept losing more of you month by month, year by year. It was really hard watching you decline. I tried to stay positive and enjoyed just being with you. It's strange now. My mom is dead, my father, my biggest support system. I know you have to leave us soon. But I know that all of us will be going where you are going sooner or later. So wait for me. I want to raise hell with you as sexy bitches when I get there. Behave yourself until I get there. Until we meet. Good night. Sweet dreams, lovely Rita. With love and friendship. Junko. It's been 1 year now. You died a couple of days after I wrote and read you this letter. You died with me. Somehow you called me to the bedroom like a magnet. I sat with you and kissed your forehead. I saw your breathing change and told you to let go of that diseased brain you were living in. As soon as I said that, you took your last breath. I couldn't believe it. I said, you did it. You really did it. And then it fucking hit me. She was gone. Like, that's what was so crazy. Like, I wanted the suffering to end so badly because she was really suffering at the end. It was a mess. I mean, it was so fucked up. It was an absolute nightmare. I mean, I have a cat now who's mourning the loss of a cat that we put to sleep, and the cat is rubbing shit on the carpet, and that's exactly what Rita was doing. She was rubbing shit all over the apartment because the diaper would leak, and she would sit somewhere, and there would be shit on the couch, and she would sit on a chair, and there would be shit on a chair, and there was shit there, and it was insane. And if you know me, you know I'm like OCD, so I was flipping out. There was shit all over the place. And I just kept seeing this shit and smelling shit and changing diapers. And then she would step in the shit and there was shit all over her. And it was insane. And I was really starting to lose my mind. And she was getting angry and angrier and angrier at me and was saying, fuck you, fuck you. Fuck was her favorite word at that point. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. She would say it over and over again. And that was the one fucking word that I understood was fuck, fuck. Fuck, that's all she would say. Sometimes she would just say it over and over again. And as she was dying, that was the one thing we could understand was fuck, 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 fuck. And then there was fucking blood coming out of her mouth. I know I've said this before, but there was fucking blood. And I was like, holy shit, can this get any worse? And there I am, fucking alone. I am alone in the fucking apartment with someone who's dying, and I am just standing there watching blood just fucking drip out of her mouth. And then it started to fucking pour out of her mouth and onto the pillow, and I was like, holy shit. I am alone in this. I am alone with a person who's dying. Can I fucking handle this? And the rabbi had said, well, you want to take her to the hospital? We can fucking give her, an IV. And I'm like, wait a second, should I do that? Should I like try to bring her body back? But I'm like, fuck, that's insane because she doesn't have a fucking mind anymore. So what the fuck would I do that for? Why would I want to bring her back? But that decision was really weighing on me, like, oh, there's the fucking rabbi again, right? With, throwing another wrench in it. Like, yeah, we can take her, we can give her fluids. And I was like, fuck. And there I was, just alone with the blood. But, something also kicked in because I've been a fucking caregiver for years. So I took care of her. And this gave me something to take care of. I was like, oh shit, I can sop up this blood. I have something to do. I can give her morphine. I have something to do. And that was so fucked up, Just shooting morphine in her mouth every 4 hours, sopping up blood. And then, when I said you should go, and she went, it was so fucked up. It was such a weird feeling. And I ran out in the hallway, and I thought I heard my neighbor who's a medical student. And I said, my fucking wife died! My fucking wife just died! And it wasn't even her. It was some guy. And he looked at me and he said, what? And I said, yeah, I think my wife just died. And he came in the apartment and he didn't know anything. So we're standing there, two of us, like idiots, looking at her body. And I was like, oh, maybe this was not such a good idea. And he said, call 911. And I said, no, do not call 911. Because when you're in hospice, if 911 comes, it becomes a fucking crime scene. I mean, it literally becomes a crime scene because someone died in your apartment. So I was like, no, okay, thank you for your help. And then he's like, well, maybe put a mirror in front of her nose. And I was like, okay, you've been watching too much TV. Thanks for that. And then he left. And then it was just me and a dead body. And it was weird, I mean, I know a lot of you have probably been with bodies when someone expires, but I've seen too many. I've been with friends on the subway. It's too much. I mean, sometimes they make this incredible noise that's the last breath, and It's something I've used in music as it's a sound. It's intense. You'll never forget it. But there I was with this body, and I didn't know what to do. I called people, and nobody picks up a fucking cell phone. I mean, why the fuck do we have cell phones? I mean, it went right to voicemail, and I was like, fuck, this sucks. You know, everybody's like, I'll be there for you, and I needed people. I did call hospice, and the first thing the guy said to me is, you just did the hardest thing in your life. And I was like, great, wonderful. All right, I just did the hardest thing in my life. And then my phone rings, and this was the weirdest thing. It was a hospice nurse, but he was calling to talk about donuts. He's like, I live in Hudson, and I went to that donut shop you told me about. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. Rita just died. And he was like, holy shit. And then he morphed into hospice nurse. And then he was like, wash her body. Straighten out her limbs. Spend as much time as you need to with her. And it was just so weird. I think the worst thing was, when do I call? Like, when do I call to have them come and take her body? That was the fucking hardest thing of all. Because then she'd be gone. And by that time, my friend Sam had shown up. I'm really taking my time. I'm kind of digging this. Maybe I should always play solo and just have a whole night. If anybody wants to book me. Oh, and I'm off the blacklist, it seems. So thank you, Brandon. And thank you, Michael. I mean, Michael's probably, between Michael and Richard, they've gotten me off the blacklist. So I appreciate it. So, all right, so I made a phone call. And I called this couple. And they said, whatever you do, don't be in the room when they take her body. Now, if someone tells you that, what are you going to think? Like, I got to be in the room. Like, I have to be in the room when they take her body. Like, that's so weird. Why wouldn't I want to be in the room? It's too difficult. You don't want to do it. I'm like, fuck you. So finally, Sam showed up, and then my friend Andy showed up. Andy was supposed to be here tonight. But Andy showed up, and he came in the room, and he just started weeping. And I hugged him, and it was so intense. He's like, it's just so sad. And he had been with me through all of it. Like we would do benchies. We would sit on the bench, and it was amazing. I did benchies with a lot of people because people knew that I was really fucked up. I couldn't leave the apartment. I was just there, taking care of her. And at the end, it was so difficult. And he just said, it's so sad. And he just looked at her body. And it was so sad. And her eyes were open, and one eye was bloodshot. And I'll never forget that. It was just one eye looking at me through this bloody eye. And then the longer her body sat there, the blood started pooling. So her skin was changing color, and you could see certain parts of her body. It was just, the blood was pooling. And then I started to feel really bad. And then I was like, all right, I need to call. I need to call and have them come. And then these two dudes show up. And it was really intense, like out of a fucking movie. They had their long overcoats, and you could tell they were undertakers. Like, one of the neighbors is crazy, and he's like, "Hey, did those undertakers come to your apartment? I saw them go to 10." And I was like, "Yeah, they came to my apartment. I knew they were undertakers by their coats." I was like, "Yeah, Nikki, they were undertakers. You were right." And man, they came in the room, and they just fucking grabbed her. I mean, they were not gentle. They fucking grabbed her legs, ripped her across the bed, and threw her on this little thing. And that was really hard to watch. But then they were like, "Hey, you got something we can use as a pillow?" And I'm like, "The way you just fucking grabbed her and now you want to comfort her? All right, yeah." So we rolled something up and we put it under her head. And then I don't even know why I brought the drum. See, that's something too. Alana says I have ADHD. I jump around. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. God damn it. All right, must have been important. Oh, fuck. Anyway, so there she is on the stretcher, nice little pillow, but then they put this cover on her. And they pulled those fucking straps so tight. I mean, I get it. They don't want the body to fall off. But just watching them go, and damn. Oh, it came back. So when I said, maybe I shouldn't have even brought a drum, it's like, it's weird. Like when you're billed as something. David Grollman, percussion. So people expect percussion. Sometimes I think I should be billed as a vocalist, right? I mean, like when Shelley Hirsch, I'm a vocalist. You come out, you have your microphone, and you can tell stories and make weird sounds, and that's what people expect. So, I don't know, sometimes maybe not having an expectation, I don't know. I've been trying to live that way. No expectations. Anyway, I'll use the drum. I'm not sure I like music anymore. Honestly, I go to gigs, and I'm just usually really bored. I don't know. Even playing music.